All right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Team Time Monday. It is February 17th. Anybody feel like the month is flying compared to January? Absolutely crazy. It's a good thing, though. Well, we've got fun stuff to talk about tonight. We've got new incentive from Optavia. I've got some results for you from the Fresh Start February, and want to hear from some of you guys because I know a few of you have recommitted with your health. So, first week, based on the responses we had as of earlier this afternoon. So a lot of people are recommitting with this. I think we had like close to 40 people who signed up for Fresh Start February. And the results so far, average weight loss, 3.17 pounds. So that's fantastic. The comments of other non-scale victories: improved mindset and positivity, better sleep, less hot flashes, better water intake, and more energy. So all of that in 7 days. So reminded of what's possible. And one thing we've talked about a lot is congruency with ourselves and our own health and where we are and how that plays out into our business. And I know a few people on here have recommitted to their health, whether or not they're officially in the Fresh Start February or not. And I would just love to hear from you guys if you'd be open to share about your experience this past week and how you're feeling. Who's going to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
Um, so I've been 5-1-ishing it for a really long time. And then sometimes I would do 5-1, and then sometimes I would just ish, and sometimes I would do my own plan. However, I decided, based on the suggestion of Beth Bilton, who was doing it, and somebody else I think on here was doing it as well, I decided to try the plan for the GLP-1, which included upping my protein, which honestly, based on my age, they would have had me do anyway with doing a 4 and 2. So, but upping the protein, and I incorporated two of the, oh, thanks, Lucy's doing it too. Two of the Ascend products, a lean and green meal. Somewhere in there, I have like a yogurt and fruit or a cottage cheese and fruit in place of a fueling. And what else? And then I have one essential fueling, sometimes two. Like tonight, I was still a little hungry after dinner. Today was a workout day, so I did have a essential brownie afterwards. But the first week, I lost 1.9 pounds, which I'm pretty happy about that. So just trying to change things up a little bit.
I know we talked about this as I was kind of coaching you, but can you talk about the mental freedom that you talked about today?
Oh my gosh, to be able to have fruit, to be able to have dairy, and that Good Culture cottage cheese. Cottage cheese is something I could take or leave, but that Good Culture is really good. And you put a little fruit in there and it's yummy. It just feels it. I'm more relaxed about it. I'm not striving all the time. I'm not starving all the time, especially on those workout days. I'm not, just kind of all of that. It just feels way more relaxed. And I am journaling because somebody by the name of Dee suggested that that be a really good idea. So I do have a journal sheet in the kitchen to
like
follow.
tracking your intake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so good. And, one thing that really stood out, because you're not the first person who has said it to me, is when you felt free, like, oh, I can eat fruit, Now I want to ask the question, how many years ago did you lose your weight initially on the
6.5, maybe.
6.5? And fruit came back in the third week of transition. Right. So it's so interesting how we, even as, experts in this arena, some of us have developed some food, like an unhealthy relationship with, because we're chronically trying to do 5-1 and we're limping along and we're not ever doing it. So that relationship. So I wonder how many of our clients have done that, you know? And so I think this is great, and why I so encourage people to do, find the system that's going to work for you. The excitement, the novelty of the 5-in-1 has obviously worn off. Otherwise you would have done it once you gain some weight back. So I think this is good and just going to make us better coaches. So regardless of where you are in your journey, think about that. That doesn't have to be going back to 5-in-1, but whatever we're doing is just going to make you more educated and knowledgeable to help your clients, and empathetic
Yeah.
to
And
it.
vegetables, carrots, and all those say, oh, heaven forbid I eat a carrot. I'd eat a bag of M&Ms, but heaven forbid I eat a carrot. Yeah, I mean, just that kind of stuff. Just it's like it took all that, and I'm not craving. I was craving everything. I'm not craving food anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. We probably have time for one more person to share.
I'm
Beth, you want
sorry.
to share?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just loving that Vicky and on her, just her honesty and just, well, and heaven, and, I'm loving carrots and I need a bag of M&Ms, but I wouldn't eat carrots. I just,
yeah.
I'm just, and then fruit, and so, but you're right. I mean, it's something that and especially when we look at chapter number 15 tells us how to eat healthy. And it has the lowest and the low glycemic fruits, and then it has the higher glycemic fruits. May I make a suggestion? Just something that would help probably everybody that, here. Up in that protein helps. The reason it helps is because it makes, anytime that we're using something that has carbohydrate in it, okay, whether it's lower or higher glycemic, if you have it along with protein and or fat, which most proteins have fat with them, it becomes like a extended release tablet, okay, as far as allowing that carbohydrate to then break down into simple sugars in your bloodstream. It delays it, and so it goes in little bits and pieces. So that's why coupling protein with the carbohydrate works well together. And so that's why when some of us are noticing when we up our protein, we actually lose more weight, because it's helping us not just only for building the muscle. There's a lot of reasons why, but like for instance, when we have the fruit and then we have it with the Greek yogurt, well, the Greek yogurt is higher in protein. Or cottage cheese is higher in protein. It does have carb too, but it's higher in protein. So that's the reason why, in case you guys were wondering what the
Yeah,
background is.
that's great information. Thank you, Kelly. And I think we all need these reminders, and the more we understand, the better we can pass that along too. And Beth, I think you had your hand up. We'll have you share.
Yeah, sorry, I was eating my cauliflower ziti bake, which is really, really good. So I
Oh,
posted
good.
that in our Eat, Live, and Be Healthy. So try it. So you were talking to me. The 5-in-1 had lost its luster. I kept trying it and not doing it and trying it again. And like you said, it's just not good for your metabolism. So I lost my weight. It's coming up on 9 years. 9 years. I can't believe it. So I've kind of gotten off track with everything going on in a good way. So I needed more structure, but because just doing like a 3 and 3 did not give me the structure that I was needing, and I found myself in a ditch. So the optimization plan has been working great for me. Same thing with like Vicky's doing. I have 2 to 3 mini meals. I have an essential. I have a healthy exchange, which is like yogurt and fruit, having more vegetables. And then I have a lean and green plus, which the plus is extra vegetable or the fruit, which you can have throughout the day. So it's been working very well for me. I think I'm down 3 pounds. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. If I put my coach hat on for all of us here, right? And when I speak, it's for me as well. But I think, you guys are all showing up here because this community is important to you. Your business is important to you. And I just can't emphasize enough, and I've been on both sides of this, but the being congruent is the word that comes to mind. And, you don't have to be perfect. with your health, but moving in that direction, finding what works. That's the great thing about what Optavia is creating for us, is this wellness program with a variety of plans that we can choose from. But I think that's great. And we've all talked about, like, we feel like this turn in the business, right? Like we've all kind of leveled out, like, okay, we went through that hard season. We're here, right? It showed up for us in different ways. Some of us ate our emotions. Some of us stopped working consistently in our business, whatever it might be, but we're here and we're back, right? So putting these pieces into place. And as you are building your business, I was reminded of this yesterday. It was in a different context, but I thought this applies for us as well. And it said, anything that grows strong grows slow. Anything that grows strong grows slow. You think about the roots you build, right? Habits you're creating, a business that you build. So as you are, building your business, and I'm not going to say rebuilding, right? We're building. Just remember, it's going to take time. But if you do it the right way, being congruent, that you'll see that result, and you'll come out with a stronger business and stronger habits for yourself, both in your health and business wise. So, Meg, I know you wanted to share about the Spring into Health.
Yes, Optavia gave us a great gift last week. They announced Spring into Health, and we all found out about it together. We had no idea this was coming. So it was like, woo, so exciting when it just showed up for us. And it started on Valentine's Day, and it goes until the end of March, or actually March 28th. To be exact. So just before the end of March. So, of course, if you haven't heard of Spring into Health, it is an additional $75 off that our clients receive. And I've got some slides I wanted to share with you. So here we go. Hopefully y'all can see this. So this is the first client's order, and this shows you each of and I'm going to zoom in. Well, let's see. Hopefully I'm going to zoom in so you can see it better. So you can see how you can best utilize this with your clients. So if someone is getting the 22 fuelings, it's $321.50, which is amazing. Of course, you can add in the Habits of Health, and that'll bring it up to $371.45. So because they are getting such a savings, this would be a great opportunity for you to throw in some of the essential amino acids, the EAAs, into the mix, or maybe something from the Ascend line, some of the whey protein. You can think through what might be best for that particular client, but we just wanted to show you this. Also know that in their second order, they are going to receive 30% rewards from that first order. So this shows you, if let's say they got just the 22 fuelings, the rewards that they earn, basically $125. So that is pretty incredible. So just wanted to kind of show you here what we have. And you'll notice this goes for lots of different plans. So it's not just the 5-in-1. We've got the Ascend meals down here at the bottom. All of these pictures were posted by Dee in our Coaches Opt for Change. So you can go back and check them all out. One question that we get from a lot of people, and put in the chat if this is something you're excited about. If you saw this and you're like, woo, this is exciting. I've been using this with people that have been reaching out. February is always an exciting month, not just, for us in our own health, but for so many clients that want to get back in. But I've been using this as hey, and by the way, you picked a perfect time to reach out because we have this extra savings going on. So I just got off a health assessment from somebody who reached out from a story that I did last week. It was so encouraging because, to be honest with you, it's been a while since I've had just like a random person reach out. And so it was really encouraging. We just got off the phone, which is why I was coming in hot to this call. But we got off and she was like, by the way, I think my husband wants to do it with me. So just really exciting to remember that feeling, right? And thinking about a husband and a wife both getting healthy together and helping their family is so stinking cool. So we have some language that we're going to share with you. If you want to utilize this in a post, we can give you this wording. This is brought to you by Chat GPT, you probably guessed. But it's sharing. You can post this on Facebook, you can post it on your stories. You'll notice in here, we didn't talk too much about like what the savings were, but just that there were savings going on, and this is a great time for them to jump in. And then, of course, we wrote out an email that you can send to your clients to let them know that this is a great time for them to either jump back in or to just order some snacks to get them back on the right foot. So Dee, anything I missed there that you wanted to make sure we brought up?
No, I think you hit it all. And what's really special about this is, the more people that, that come back or that are attracted, that maybe those savings is the final thing, right? Somebody was hesitant around money. We've got all the bonuses out there, client support bonus. So sometimes I'll hear somebody say like, oh, well, now my commission's going to be less, but you can actually earn more bonuses. And I have never viewed it that way, like my commission will be less, because the way I look at it is like, if that got somebody back that might not have been coming back, I didn't have it anyway. So it's a win. But the thing to think about with this is how quickly those bonuses, because you're helping more people again, can kick in. So that's pretty exciting. But we'll put the Google Doc link when we post this recording. We'll have those suggested posts for you. I plan to do a post I put it in Eat, Live, and Be Healthy, but I did a post about these 1 week results and the savings. So if anybody happens to see that, that is an inactive client. But I actually plan to use that when I reach out to my inactives, is some of those statistics, and also to post about it as well. Like, this is what happens in a week. So I think that's good. And any questions around that before we jump into our next topic? It's really interesting to watch as a group, and I can see why Optavia does this. We at the end of December ramped it up, right? We were in action, helping everybody, or we were up with new clients or whatever. And January was good, but actually things had started to slow down again. And what I really am appreciative of is that Optavia is keeping this, and they're trying to help us create and keep momentum. And since this was gone out, we doubled the amount of new clients we'd helped in 4 days. We doubled what we had already helped, in the first 10 or 13 days of the month, or 14 days of the month. So I could already tell that it was working. So just know that there is always the marketing business side behind this of what we're creating. And momentum is always a good thing, guys. We want to ride that momentum as long as we can. So I'm excited about it. All right. Okay. So the other thing I get questions about is, the transition and optimization plan have been modified now to incorporate with the Ascend products. And just wanted to touch on that tonight. And Julie Apple's going to pipe in here with me as well. But just a reminder, like Beth had mentioned to me, she's like, I have a client, they don't want to order the Ascend products. Like, they've been doing 5-in-1. They're happy with the Ascend products. They don't want to. They don't have to, guys. Follow the old plan. The most important thing is the purpose of transition is to help them incorporate other food groups and then gradually bump that calorie base up. So I just want you to know that you can approach it in multiple different ways. If somebody is doing the GLP-1 plan, and I have a couple of clients now that I have been more vocal about the weight loss drugs, and basically it's clear that I approve of them, and and I help people on them. I have more people coming to me or going to LifeMD for it. And if they're on the GLP-1 plan with the Ascend, it's a simple transition for them. They just go into the increased calorie plans that Optavia has laid out beautifully for us. If you just search Coach Answers optimization plan, like, everything you need is there. But there is a really helpful PDF that I will show. 1 second. This PDF is in the back office, and you could, can you guys see that? Just somebody give me a thumbs up. Yes. Okay. But this PDF is in the back office. It's just called the Transition and Optimization Plan. Nice slick little document. You could just print it and have it. But if somebody is on 5-in-1 and you want to incorporate the Ascend into it, what that's doing is instead of saying, yeah, the first week is extra vegetables, the second week is fruit, the third week is dairy. Basically, we're just going to start to increase their calories, and then those extra things can come from wherever they want them to be from the healthy exchange list. So it's introducing that wider variety of foods. They can even use the EAAs as their healthy exchanges. But basically, you know, when they're on 5-in-1, the calories can be as low as 800 calories. So that first week, we're just looking to increase it to 900 to 1,000 calories. So they would have 4 fuelings, and then they could add in one of the Ascend products, the shake, the pancake, the soup, whatever they want. They still do 1 lean and green meal, and that's it. That's the only change for that first week. So we're going to let the body kind of stabilize at that higher calorie range. Then we're going to bump it up the next week, getting closer to 1,200 calories. They're going to drop down to just 2 Optavia fuelings. They could do 2 of the Optavia Ascend mini meals, and then the lean and green, and then they add in a healthy exchange, which could be fruit, it could be dairy, it could be grains, whatever they choose. And then you can see the chart from here. The 1,000 to 1,200. Beyond that, what's going to happen, and Julie's going to touch on this, you're going to calculate their TEE, and then they're going to use healthy exchanges, or they can use essential fuelings if they want, or Ascend, to bump those calories up. To get to where they need to be. So it's still that gradual, but the most important thing is I think most people, what the company found, weren't making it to transition, or they would get there and they just wanted to be done. So we wanted to shrink that process. But what can't happen is them go from 800 calories to 1,800 calories in a week. It's just a shock to the system. So Julie, you're such a pro at this. I thought I'd let you hop in.
Yes. And gosh, this is something that I feel like we all need to be challenged to be experts in this area, because I've had several people that have reached back to me that I train at the gym, and they did Optavia a few years ago. And every single one of them, I've asked them, hey, did you do transition last time? They're like, no, I don't even know what it is. Ugh, you guys, like, we have to be pros ourselves to be able to help these clients. And so I can see, like, a lot of the people that I'm starting to help now, their coaches aren't coaching anymore, you know? And I'm like, oh, so I always tell them, I'm like, I am like, that's my favorite thing, is helping clients with transition. And it's just because it's like the training wheels, you know, like if our clients are doing 5-in-1 and successful, but they don't know what to do next, they just keep spinning their wheels. I mean, we just talked about it, you know? So it's something that I think we all need to be like upping our game to be able to help our clients, because it's so critical to help them understand where to go as like a little baby that's drinking milk to a toddler that learns how to eat regular food, you know? When we all, if you're a mom, you know, it didn't just happen overnight, you know? So I encourage all of us, myself, like, make sure you're doing it yourself and learning. And if you have questions, I'm more than happy to help. But the key with it is helping them understand that you have to follow a process, and it's not just going to happen whether it's 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It's key to learn how to do it long term, because they have to stair step their calories up, and they have to understand what does TE even mean, you know? And it recently moved. So I was going to show you guys, if you grab your phone and your app, I think it's critical that we all know how to even calculate this for our clients. For yourself would be a good starting point. So when you guys go into your app, you will be taken. I was just doing it to make sure I got it on my phone. But when you log in, at the top, it says today, and it'll say welcome, and then your name, and then it says today is what's like highlighted. And then if you scroll over to where it says my journey, you should get a whole bunch of new options. And when you scroll down, one of the ones maybe like halfway down says your total energy expenditure. You guys seeing that? Just nod if you're seeing it on your phone. Yeah. Okay. So I've done this a bunch with my clients. You can calculate it for yourself. You can also just do it for your clients, and it resets every time. So go ahead and put your info in there, and then put next step. And I would do sedentary. That's what I do for everybody. And the way I describe it is that's your baseline. So that you know, if I'm not active on certain days, that's my baseline calorie intake. You don't really want to go lower than that when you're trying to maintain your weight. So like for mine, I think it came up to around 1,700 calories is what my baseline at sedentary would be. Then if you know you're going to work out 3-4 times a week, bump up that protein and the carbs like Kelly was describing, you know, pair it together, bump up your calories so that you are getting what the fuel your body needs, and use the healthy exchanges or use the essentials or Ascend. I was telling Dee, for me personally, I've been breaking the Ascend the Ascend mini meals in half, because if you calculate even 1,700 calories and do 2 of those, that's already like 400 of the calories right there. So I've been breaking them in half when I eat them, and I'll have like half for my morning fueling and then have the other half like in the afternoon. And that fits my calories a lot better. So even my 5-in-1 clients, I've been telling them, if you want the Ascend, just make sure you break them in half. And so for maintenance, same thing. I feel like if you do 2 of those Ascend ones, your calories go up real quick. So that would be my suggestion, is break them in half and then help clients see how to move from 5-in-1 or 4-in-2, move week by week, whichever transition plan you want to follow they want to follow, help them get to the calorie intake they need and do it slowly and gradually so that they're learning in the process and they feel empowered versus terrified. And then they don't even do it. So that would be my encouragement. And if you need specific help or whatever, I'm more than happy to help you guys.
That's so helpful, Julie. And, you know, at the start of the Fresh Start February, I started a challenge with my gym, and I'm tracking all of my macros, my calories, everything. And I'm utilizing the products, but I found that on days I have Ascend, it really does bring everything up quickly. So if you've never used a tracking tool, it's not something that you have to do like the rest of your life, counting points and whatever, but it is very telling. And I'm like trying to keep it in. So even my clients, as I put them through transition, I have them use MyFitnessPal or a tracking tool until they get a feel for what their caloric intake actually looks like and how quickly it adds up. You know, my morning coffee between my half and half, whatever, I mean, it adds up like in nobody's business. So,
I agree. Dee. That was the other thing I forgot to say is I definitely encourage and almost like tell every client, if you don't track, you don't understand it and you won't like see the big picture. So I'm definitely the same thing, Dee, like use a tracker to see a big picture.
yeah. And then once you get your rhythm, you know, and your confidence, yeah, right, you can start to do that. I know this is a lot, and a lot of it's different info, so there's probably some questions. We've got a couple of minutes before we go over to the community call. Everybody's got it?
I had asked a quick question. Do we know
Yeah.
if Optavia corporate sent out anything? This is a little off topic of transition, but did they send out anything about the new incentive? Do we know?
I don't know for a fact that they have been advertising heavily on social media with it. I would not be surprised if they don't, because you know they'll be helping us with that. But I think anything that we send personally later on, like the email that Meg had designed, it really sounds personal, right? So it's like that's coming from their coach. But yeah, I saw your comment. You had somebody come back randomly. Yay.
Mhm.
Yay. Yeah, that's good. Vicky, were you going to ask something? Oh, you got it. Okay. All right. Other questions, comments? All right, we're good. Okay. Well, we're actually a little bit early. Meg, how about you got anything to add in? Oh, Meg, share about your client, the story. Yeah.
So I have she's actually a returning client. And we had a great conversation. She started last week. She started maybe Wednesday. As soon as her box came in, she was like, okay, I'm going. And so kind of started before she was ready almost, and was doing the check-in calls like we do. And we got to, she had book club, so she couldn't talk to me because she was in book club. And then we talked the next day, actually a couple days later, and she was like, Meg, I have got to tell you, I started at the wrong time. I've got book club. I've got all this other stuff going on. I got to restart. And so we talked about, you know, as we do, right? It's not a restart. It's just a part of our journey. There's never a perfect time to start. We had this whole conversation about, like, you know, the diet culture and constricting versus what we're all about, which is healing and health. And you know, I said, who wants to diet? It's like budgeting, yuck. And she goes, no, I love to budget. I love like being fiscally conservative and responsible and all the kind of stuff. She's like, I can say no to buying a bracelet or a bauble or whatever because I want long-term financial margin. Like I know what I want long-term. And so she had this whole revelation that, you know, she's great at saying no to things financially now for what she really wants in the future. So she's got that muscle. She just has to apply it to health in the same way. So this is just she's going to make the same kind of decisions. She's got that framework. She just needs to put it in for her health. Anyway, she made that shift. That was Saturday. I talked to her today to check in. Everything is different. She is like having great success. She feels better. She's not as stressed, and her mindset is just different. So I don't know who needed to hear that tonight. I needed to hear that conversation with her. So I just wanted to share it in the event that it serves somebody else here tonight too.
Super helpful. I think more than ever, that touched me, and I was like, wow, I'm going to share that as well. I think the mindset conversations are everything right now. And I'm finding sometimes it's just one sentence and somebody will be like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. So if you haven't done it, pull out your element 4, element 23, you know, brush up, you know, we're getting back in business, folks. So that's fun. All right. All right. Well, we are going to head over to our watch party. It is about, I think, optimizing our results. So I will share it. I'm going to stop the recording and share it. Thanks, everybody who shared tonight.